Hello everyone, it's Carrie at Inky Bee Journals and Ephemera. Welcome to my channel. If you have recently subscribed or you are new to my channel and seeing me for the first time, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So today I'm not doing a tutorial, I am doing a craft along today and just using some of my scrap pieces to make up some ephemera pieces. And I have some things here which are pockets and things that came as part of a digital kit. I have no idea what it was called. I'm not even sure. I still have a link for it. But if I do find it, I will put it in the description box. So we'll be making these up, or at least at some point I hope to. I won't get through all of this today, but we can make a start on it. So before we make a start on this, I will quickly say that you might be wondering, those of you who have followed me for a while, why I haven't been on for about a week, or it might be just over a week now. And this is because, if you don't already know, I am a carer for my mum, who has not been particularly well of late, and so that's been keeping me busy. But recently a dear friend of mine has also suffered from a stroke, and I've been helping their family to take care of them as well. So I've been a bit busier. I've also had some trouble with YouTube. The website itself had some trouble for 4 or 5 days with some of the features not working correctly. And for this reason, I decided it better not to try and upload a video during that time in case it didn't work. However, here I am back again, and we can get back to making some crafts. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have some pieces here which are pieces of envelope, and I'm just going to turn these into little pockets because I've just written pocket on there. And yeah, I think that's what I'll do with those. So the first thing I'm going to do is just glue this little bit of flap down. So I'm just going to grab my glue, and I'm just using a little bit of art glitter glue. Now, you don't have to use this glue. If you want to use a fabric glue, or you want to use a piece of glue stick, you might even like to use some double-sided tape. You could use that as well if you like, whatever you like. But if you're going to be using paper and cardstock and things, just consider that if you are going to use a wet glue like this one, that it's not going to be something that is going to have too high of a water content, because you might find that it will potentially wrinkle and warp your project. And if that's not the look you're going for, then you might like to look for something that is a little less likely to do that to your project. Okay, so now I'm just going to use this piece of scrap that I have, and I'm just going to cover it up. So I'll just use the glue again. And I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. And I'm just going to put my pin in my glue, and I'm just going to flip this over and glue this down. And I'm just going to run over that with my bone folder just to help that glue to spread out a little bit and get a nice stick. And then I'm just going to use my scissors to trim this out. So I hope everybody is doing well. I just want to say that I have been seeing on the news that there is a lot of damage to people's homes and livelihoods. I think it's over in the States, the US, with these hurricanes, and I just really hope that you guys are all okay, that your families and your friends, your neighbours and your school friends and workmates and all of that are okay. And don't give up hope. There's always help out there for you. But I really do hope that you're all okay. Where I live here in Australia, we can get some pretty big winds and some good storms, but we've never had major hurricanes. So I really do feel for those of you who are facing it. Okay, so I'm going to use some of these construction pieces that I have, and they are simply just pieces of whatever width and length that you have, and I've just simply folded them in half, and I'm going to glue them down to the sides and across the bottom, and this will create a gusset so that when we put the pocket down, whatever you choose to put in the pocket will have, if it's got a little bit of dimension to it, will go under there comfortably and not be so tight. So that's why I'm doing this. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue to the side. And when you glue them down, always glue them down so that the folded edge of your construction strip is facing the outside edge of where you're gluing it to. And this is so that you don't end up not being able to use your pocket properly. And just stick that down. And when you stick it down, if you can, just, I'll bring this up to the camera, hopefully you can see, just bring it in ever so slightly by a whisker from the edge, and that just means that when you turn it over this way, there's no evidence of that construction strip being seen on the outer edge here. And then I'm just going to cut that off flush there. And I'll open that up and I'll do the same across the bottom. Yep, it's long enough. So I'm just going to run some glue along here. Once again, making sure that the folded edge is to the outside edge. Place it just inside that edge. Make sure that's well pressed down. Turn it over and clip the edge off, the excess I should say. And then we can, this bit's a little bit short, so we'll use another piece. These are just made with off-cut pieces of paper. These particular ones I'm using at the moment are just when I was making something with coffee dyed paper. I've just had some pieces that were cut off, and so I'm just utilising them this way. Stick those down. going to put I was going to put the pin back in the glue, but I have to do this bit first. So where you've got these three like this, you need to be able to bring them in like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these two pieces in, and then I'm going to glue this piece on the top. Or I can do it the other way and fold this long piece at the bottom in first. And then glue these pieces here. But I'm actually going to cut this off just a little bit on an angle, just to make that a bit easier to fit. You don't have to do this, but it does help to make it a little bit more of an angle. It just, you can do it on the side pieces too, but it just makes it that little bit easier to fold. So I can fold that in and then fold the sides over the top. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here and just glue that down, and then a little bit of glue here, and glue that down. Okay, and that has created a gusset in there, so that when you put this down on your page, it sits up just a little bit, but that allows you to put something in there that you might have a tag or something that has a little bit of dimension to it, and it's going to fit in there comfortably because you're giving it that little bit of extra space. So we've made one, put that aside. We'll do another one. And this is the same, this is another just piece of envelope, and I'm just going to cover this up. And it does fit only just. Just going to press that down with the bone folder because it helps to spread the glue out and get a good stick. And then I'm just going to trim this out with my scissors. So this is big enough, we can use this for something else, so don't throw that away. So we've covered that part, and we could use this as a double pocket if we want to. So we'll put some construction strips for gussets around the edge. So we'll put some glue down this side. Making sure that the folded edge is to the outer edge so that we don't put it on the wrong way and block anything from going into our pocket comfortably. Cut the excess off, and we can go across the bottom. another piece down just inside that edge so that we don't see anything on the other side. Cut down the excess. Now these pieces are a bit short on their own, however we can join them together and make one complete piece. So we'll do that just to use them up a bit. Now I do have the air conditioner going in the room, so I do apologise if you can hear a whirring sound in the background. That's what it will be. But I do need the heater going here because I am working at night and we are still experiencing some cold nights. So, okay. So I can cut down that excess, and then what we can do, actually I should have glued one straight over the top of the other, so I'm just going to cut, well, I'm not going to cut it, I'm just going to tear it, but it will work. And I'm just going to glue this piece straight over the edge, these two where it actually meets up, so that it's not going to be two separate pieces after all. And that will just mean that when I go to slide something in here, it's not going to catch on one piece. So now I just need to glue these bottom edges, but before I do that I'm just going to cut these little corners a bit. Just on a slight angle, just so that when we fold them in together like this, they will not clash and cause any problems. So I just put a little bit of glue in the corner and press that down. For a moment, and there's our gusset area, and so I'm just going to get my 1-inch circle punch, and I'm just going to punch a thumb notch somewhere in the middle, and there is a second pocket there that can be used as a double pocket, because we have a pocket in here, and then we have, when we glue this down on 3 sides, we would have another pocket in underneath as well. So that's 2 of those. So we'll move on to this, just to do something a little bit different. Now I've got 2 of these on this one piece, because this one piece is big enough for 2 pieces. So these also obviously are a piece of envelope, and I'm just going to cover these. I cut an angle on them because I'm going to turn them into side tucks. This piece is the same. So I'm just going to glue these down, but yes, I will use one that way, and I might do the other one the other way, or I might just leave it this way. So it doesn't matter which way you use these, which way you glue them down. I guess it depends which side of a page you want to glue it down to, whether you want to glue it down to the left or the right side of a page. I'm not being particularly fussy about that. I'm just gluing them down, and I'm just going to run some glue all over the middle. And oh, I've got a leakage there, so I'll have to fix that up. And I'm just going to stick that down like that. And in the meantime, I'm going to clean up my glue. Not too sure why it's done that all of a sudden, but we'll clean that up. I might have overfilled it just a little bit too much because I did refill my glue bottle before I started this video. Alright. So now we'll do this piece as well. So I'm just going to put some glue down. And I'm just going to stick that down. Like that. Run over those with the bone folder just to spread that glue out. Just going to put the pin back in my glue, and then I'm going to trim these out. So move all my little pieces. And I'm just going to bring in my little trimmer. I'm going to cut them down. Lift this bit up first. I'm just going to cut them down between the two. Again, we have a piece here that we can hang on to for another time. And I'm just going to use my scissors to trim out the remainder. So there we go. It would go down this way, and you would just tuck something in under here like this. So there's one, and that can, these can be these things, any of these things can be decoratable when we know what journal we're putting them in. And if we might want to put some labels on or some other form of decoration, maybe some trim or an image, but I'll decide that when I go to use them. And there's the second one. So I also have these. So these have something written on them as well. So this says a side tuck or belly band. So this is just printed on a bit of regular copier paper, so it's fairly flimsy. So I'm just going to glue it down to a piece of cardstock to give it a little bit of extra rigidity. And actually for this, I am going to use my glue stick, so I'm just going to get my glue paper, and I'm just using an old catalogue, and I'm just going to put some glue on here. Move that aside, and I'm just going to glue this down. The lid on there. Use the bone folder to help flatten out that glue. And I'm just going to turn it over and run over it on this side. And then I'm just going to trim this out. Hang on to this piece because that's plenty big enough to do something else with. So that's literally all it is. It's a piece of paper which it's part of a digital that I had printed, and it's literally just backed onto a piece of card, and that can be placed down in the side of a book. So I've got a journal here and I've got a journal page. I can just place it down. If it was smaller, I would like longer, I should say, to fit in a page that way, and then you would put a little bit of something in under there, or you could turn it this way and use it that way so that you could put something straight through under here. You would glue it down this side and this side. So you could do that. So there's another piece that can be decorated further in time. These pieces, these are probably, what have I written here, labels. So these could be little decorative labels. So I'm just going to glue them onto this bit of cardstock. So again, I'm just going to glue them on the back. And then stick them down to the cardstock. And I'm just going to use the bone folder to go over that, just to help it stick. Spread that glue out, stick well. Now this piece is big enough for 2 pieces, so I will do another piece on here. Going to do this one, if I can get it on straight, hopefully like that, and now I'm going to have to glue it again because there's not enough on there. Try this again and just try to put this somewhere in the center this time. May not be perfect, but when I trim this out, this first one will be trimmed right up to the edge, but this second one I'm going to trim with just a little bit of the pink cardstock around the edge, just to give it a little bit of a border. So I'm just going to cut between the two, and then I'm going to trim this out. So there's one, and when I trim this one out, I'm just going to leave myself a narrow little border. So this piece is big enough to hang on to for something else. Move these pieces over. And what I'm going to do after I put the lid back on my glue is I'm just going to bring in my little 3-way corner punch. And I'm just going to use the small corner punch. And I'm just going to, actually I might use the next size up and just punch and just do those 4 corners. So there's one, and then on this one I might use the 3-way corner rounder, and I'll use the smaller one, and I'll just take those corners off, those sharp corners, so they just have a very slight rounded corner on them. So there's a couple of pieces. And I have this piece with 3 tags on them, so I'm just going to glue these down. I think we can get 3 on here, so we'll try for 3. And yep, we'll fit a 3rd on there. So we'll glue this piece. Just going to go over that with the bone folder. I'm going to flip it over and give it a pressing on this side. And put the glue back on, the lid back on the glue, sorry. And grab my scissors. And I'm just going to cut between these. And then I'm just going to trim them out. So fussy cutting is not one of my favourite things to do. I don't do it all that often when it comes to intricate sort of things. I do not have one of those fancy Cricut machines. I would love to, but I just don't have the space for them. And at this stage, I don't even have a separate craft room. So my workspace is literally right beside my kitchen in my dining area, and it will stay that way for a little while at least. And I'm planning for some new storage to come in, but probably not till next year. I'm going to have to replace my mobile phone as well because it's been damaged, unfortunately, and it's getting to a time where it needs replacing anyway because it's getting old. Technology keeps changing, so we need to stay up with the times where we can. That's 3 tags done. Now if you want to, you could go and cut these, punch out these little circles at the top. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do that another day. Okay, well, I might leave it there for now. I know I have some more things to do, but we can work on these on another video. So if you've got some scraps and bits and pieces, you can make some ephemera out of them. Have a go. It's a really easy thing to do, and it deals with all those endless scraps that, as a paper crafter, if you're new to paper crafting, you're new to junk journaling, once you start getting scraps, it will be a never-ending box of scraps. So keep finding ways to use them. So I'll leave the video there for now. If you liked this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing so that YouTube can send you a message to let you know that I've uploaded a new video. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.